Hey everybody, welcome back to Legacy Builders. Glad you could join us today. We're just going to continue on with our talk on building legacy. And today we have special guest. This is my wife, Jodi, and she's going to help talk with us and just share kind of our process that we went through when we started kind of putting some meat to our family legacy, our components, or kind of defining, building a foundation of our family legacy. And so we just wanted to have her in to help kind of walk through and share what that looked like. So Madison, anything you wanted to?
Yeah, well, for people that come on, we ask, what's a lesson that you've learned that you'd like to share with people? And so
I have learned as I've gotten older that it's okay to not have everything perfect and done and spotless, everything on your to-do list checked off, that the people that are in your house and the people in your family are more important than all of those tasks.
That's great.
Very good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I've learned to slow down.
Yes. And you've been doing an amazing job at that. She truly is an amazing mom. And so we don't always give her maybe the credit that she deserves, but she's an amazing mom. So.
Well, I will say that this project that we started off with, defining legacy, it was a really a good thing. I think it started putting into motion a lot of more solid relationship building, just focus for our family. And one of the things that Jodi and I would have we call them high level discussions around here. We don't have arguments, we have high level discussions. So some of our high level discussions that we have, one of the comments I would always make and would be that we're not on the same page, and it would be frustrating and for her, and because we don't know what that meant. And once we kind of set the tone with this, with kind of what our mission statement or purpose or our family defined, which we're going to share with you here in a few minutes, looked like, Jodi has a different story about that. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So tell them about how that was helpful.
Well, he would always say that, and I never understood, what is the page? What does that mean? And what are you saying? And now we actually have a physical page of what our family stands for, what we believe in, what we're working towards, and where, kind of we should expect ourselves to be. And that's what he was talking about.
Well, it's also a good thing. Like Madison and I talked about answering the why question early on in parenting. If you tell your parent, or your parents tell the kids, don't do this. Why? Because I said so. Well, now we have something we can direct them to. Why? Because this is what we agreed on. This is what we agreed we would do in our family. And so we feel it's very powerful. And we shared this with a lot of people, and it's inspired a lot of people. And you'll hear from another special couple here in the next episode that really took this and ran with it too. And it was exciting. So
yeah, they did it for their own family too, and sat down and had some of those discussions.
Yep.
To find that. So, and we've actually had with this family some discussions all together, our family and theirs, which have been really, really good.
Yeah, joint family meetings. So it was fun. So can't wait to talk to them about that and let you guys hear about that. So what we did is we started off, and I'm going to show you, this is what we made. This is our Madej family acronym.
And we're going to share this too, so you can actually see it and see what the words are and all of that. But if you want to, Mom, if you want to read off what our words are.
Sure. So M is for motivated.
Nope.
A is authentic. D is dominion. E is equal, and J is justice.
So took our last name, and we just sat down and we we just brainstormed and we're like, what do we believe? What what does Madej stand for? What do we believe it stands for? And we just sat and talked about it, and those are the things that we came up with and we adopted. It's been pretty fun. We're gonna explain them. We also didn't just put a word next to it. We actually defined that also, what that means for us. And so one thing I would recommend is if you are doing this and you have a super long last name, you may you may want to abbreviate your name, or maybe pick 5 characteristics, out of, maybe pick 5 letters out of the, somehow, you got 12 letters,
So it's a lot of characteristics to live up to.
Right, exactly. So, and maybe, and just, you don't even, we like the acronym, and actually it fit, and a lot of other families have used that, and you'll hear another example on that, but it is really cool how it does define the family, but you don't have to have an acronym. You don't have to use just pick,
well, and let's just say the magic is not in the acronym.
Right.
And so that's not the magic. The magic is having a vision for the family, and all coming together in one, like meeting collectively, talking about what you want future, what your best self, what your best family life looks like. And so, and then sticking to it and keeping each other accountable.
Right.
So
when we first started this, Jodi, honestly, what was your first, when we said, okay, we're going to start having family meetings, we're going to start talking about, our legacy. What would you tell the listeners? What kind of experience was that? Good experience, bad, awkward? What were your first thoughts on that?
I think it was a little awkward at first because no one knew what to expect, and I think it was driven a lot by you, and so our kids were younger when we started this process. I think our youngest didn't understand or didn't care at the point, but he's changed now. I think it was just a learning experience for everyone to understand that we are a family and here's where we're going, and we need to have some goals and some purposes and things that we're working towards. And I think it was encouraging, to me personally, and then also as a family, to see our family moving forward as we continued on with this process and then reviewed it, over, every month, every 6 months, every year, just to kind of see how people were changing and moving, and relationships were changing too. So
yeah, and we'll definitely talk about that a little bit more, and that's just the magic of this helping to establish a plan, because we talk about many people don't plan to fail, they just fail to plan. And this is a great opportunity to share with you our story on how we just started creating a plan. And like Jodi said, it has proven to be successful and start to have noticeable changes in multiple areas. So let's start with M, our motivated. So what did we define motivated to mean?
We are motivated to grow and be all that God purposed us to be. We believe we have not reached our full potential and believe each day we can become a little better than the day before.
So I think that really, we discussed this a lot, and that really emphasized that we never wanted to get to a place where we felt we've arrived, where we felt we could just, we were done. If we stop dreaming, we're done. So we just always feel that we can be a little bit better than we are today. Just always that little something and little goals. We didn't have to have this massive mountain to climb, but we could have little goals. And if we just take little steps, look back over a year, 2 years, and you'll see, man, by taking those little steps, we were able to accomplish some things and be in a different position than we were 2 years ago.
What did that motivated mean for you, Mom? Like, just when we came up with that, what part of that sticks out to you most?
I think it's just the fact that, God gave us a purpose, and a reason to be here, and it's important that we're striving to reach after that and follow that and fulfill that purpose, but that motivation is needed to move forward.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of a, yes, our family's motivated, but you have to know what motivates yourself as well.
That's good.
Yeah, very good.
I remember as a kid, my dad just always saying, reach your personal best. Like, it doesn't matter what everybody else's best is. It matters what your personal best is. And so after you reach that personal best, then maybe you can go even a little bit further. And so I just remember that being a key phrase. And so in the conversations that we had, that was something that was brought up. I mean, we just sat on the couches in our living room and kind of started coming up with this and just writing out ideas and writing out M words, like what could we use for M? Because we did go with the acronym. And so we just wrote out some things, and motivated is what stuck for M. So then after we got the word, then we defined what that meant for us. It's a lot of rough drafts, crossing out, and high level discussions. Well, not high level discussions necessarily.
Yeah. Well, and again, this isn't to say that we're all going to see eye to eye, but once we do come to that agreement, we're going to stick to this agreement. So along the way, along the process, I mean, especially if a family has never communicated on this level before, it's going to be tough. It's going to have some tough conversations. You're probably not going to get it all done in one night. You might have to have 2, 3, or 4 sessions, sleep on it, take a break.
We didn't get it done in one night.
No, heck no.
No.
Yeah, so I mean, again, it's a new thing. There's no rule book to this. There's no pattern. That's why we're doing these podcasts, to give you a somewhat of a guideline to be able to help your family.
Yeah.
Well, I think also, I mean, knowing that we're continually growing in this statement helps remind us to be humble. That we're not there yet. We're not the thing. We are still working towards it, still striving to be our very best. And I think it was encouraging for our kids to tell them, to do your personal best, because I think a lot of parents are hard on their kids and they're telling them everything they did wrong, or if the child's disappointed, like maybe they didn't do so well, it's, you do your personal best and you do the best that you can do. And when you feel that you've done that, then you've succeeded. But you can be better, and you can do better and better the next time.
Yeah, that's really good.
So
A.
Yeah, so what is A?
A is authentic. Mom, you want to read that one?
We believe each person is unique and should strive to become the best version of themselves. We strive and encourage others to find their unique voice in the world.
Yep, and I think this kind of goes along with how we treat other people, and we have made sure that it's not my job to live my life through my kids. They're authentic, they have a unique purpose. I need Madison to find her purpose because she has something to offer me. If she doesn't discover her purpose, I feel that leaves a void in our family. She's not supposed to be a mini Jodi or a mini Eric. That's not why she was put on this earth. She's authentic, unique, and we encourage everybody to find that voice. And we treat people that way. That's how we treat other people. Like, they are special. They have something to contribute to our lives. We don't, not just us contributing everything into their lives.
Absolutely. It's also just about, like you said, each family member has their own unique personality, unique purpose, and so does everybody else in the world. So we should treat them as such, and just be our authentic selves. That's really what this one's about, is just being our authentic selves and allowing everyone in the family to be their authentic selves as well.
Yep, and to strive, we also say, to strive to become the best version of themselves. So we kind of hit on that a little bit. So some of these kind of intertwine with each other, And so become your personal best. So become the best version of yourself. Is this it? Is this the best? Is this all that there is? In 99% of the time, the answer is no. So you could always continue to develop and strive to be the best version of you, not the best version that I think you should be. The best version of you. Who do you feel you need to be?
Do you remember anything else in the authentic conversation that came up to add to that?
Not really.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Kind of covered that.
Yeah.
My other comment.
So dominion is our D, and we said that we believe we are empowered to control our life and our circumstances rather than our circumstances and life controlling us. We strive to impact and influence our surroundings with the kingdom of God. So for us, we believe that in the beginning, God created man, and he created us to have dominion on the earth. And it was our job to influence the earth with that government.
So let's define dominion real quick for those people who may not know what dominion is.
Yeah, so dominion is simply, basically, management, rulership, leadership, control. So it's not dominate like one person's up here and another one's down here. No, the dominion is equality. So we all have our own spheres that we are given to have that leadership aspect in on the earth. That's what we believe. So we're not trying to push that belief on you. All we can do is share what our foundation is. And so our foundation is the kingdom of God. And that's what we believe, the kingdom of God and his mandate in Genesis 1:28 to give us dominion. So that's what we believe, and through that mandate that he empowered us to control our circumstances. So it's just a matter of us controlling our circumstances and our environment and not having our environment control us. So we just believe that we can set the atmosphere and not life happens to all of us. So we can just be in control of that or be a victim of that. So we choose to exercise that dominion, control, not that we have to control everybody's lives. Because dominion does not equal dominion over people. So this is dominion over
our circumstances.
Right.
And the circumstances we've been given to.
And over ourselves too.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the self-control of ourselves to be an example and, a guide to our family, to our friends, to other people.
Right.
Because I think too many people in the world are living the victim mentality where life is hard and oh, poor me and I can't ever get ahead. And, they're letting all of their environment control their attitude.
Right.
Yeah.
That's all we teach. We just believe that we're not going to teach that. Life happens and we're going to overcome. And we're gonna
Well, let's talk. For our family, there's been some big circumstances where life has hit and we've had to overcome. Do we want to talk about those real quick? Like just of Michael and my mom had a huge surgery when we were little kids. So does anybody want to go into that?
Yeah, I would say, just to let just maybe more of a, here's a couple things that, that happened.
Life hasn't been easy breezy for the last 20 years. There's been little hiccups and speed bumps along the way that we've had to deal with. And
yeah, and we'll get into more of our story. I think, Madison, maybe that would be a little bit more in-depth stories that we would have to tell, but just know that, life has happened, and having a special needs child is not easy. Jodi had a brain tumor that we had to deal with and overcome as a family, and and she has to personally deal with, and those are just a couple. There's many others that we would go into, and
But just to say, I mean, like, we're talking from experience. Like, you
Right.
guys, we're not just saying like this stuff and haven't really ever had any things. Like, those are some big things to overcome. And
Right.
we've taken as a family, you guys especially, have overcome those things and control your own environment. And you don't let those things make you a victim to life. And so that's more of the point I just wanted to mention right there, is that there has been some things.
Well, I would add on to that, just to kind of give more of an example of what you're trying to say, I think here, that I would have, one time, years ago, we were in a foreclosure on our house. And I had a friend of mine that would come and talk to me, and they were facing a foreclosure as well. And we started talking about it, and I had told them, I said, well, yeah, we're in foreclosure also. And he's like, you are? And I was like, well, yeah. He goes, I never would have guessed, because you don't act like it. And if I were to talk to you, it'd be as though nothing is bothering you, or nothing bad is happening. And so that's kind of sometimes what we're talking about, is life happens, but it doesn't have to control your attitude. It doesn't have to control how you treat people. It doesn't have to control how you treat one another.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a situation in life and it sucks. There's a lot of bad things, but we still have the choice on how we're going to respond. And that's what this is all about. And we all go through stuff. We go through life, but other people wear it, they quote, wear it on their face. I mean, something bad is going on. And but something always bad seems to be going on, so that's what we're talking about. Just, we can control that. We don't have to be victims of that, because we all have problems. Even the people that seem like they don't have problems, everybody has problems. Everybody has issues. Just because you don't think they do, and they put on great posts on Facebook to see like everything's perfect and their life is all put together, it's not all put together. They have problems just like you and I have problems. But we just believe we can have dominion over those problems and not allow it to control every aspect of our life.
Yeah. And that's something we just keep each other accountable for.
Yep.
So E is equal. We believe everyone is important and we're created with a purpose. We treat each person equally and believe everyone deserves to be loved and respected.
100%. I mean, I can say that, that was also what I personally was growing up to be taught. And go ahead, Madison.
Is that, Mom, would you say you were growing up taught that, or was that something you learned along the way?
I think I was taught, to be respectful of everyone and, treat everyone equally. My parents may have had their own opinions, but I tried, to be accepting of everyone. I guess I would say for our family, having a special needs child, it's been really good for our other two kids to understand growing up with that situation and taking care of their brother, and how it affects how they look at other people in the world. And I think it's really affected them, even extended family, into their openness and willingness to accept anyone, no matter what they look like, what disability they might have, what color their skin is. Our son with special needs has never met a stranger, so he thinks everyone is a friend, and he's accepting of everyone, which is good and bad. But
Michael probably does this one the best out of all of
us.
Yes. Sometimes too well. Because he can't always say hi to all the strangers.
There's a lot in the world today that we live in that, has caused me to think, what do I feel about this? How do I think about this? Social media, I think, influences a lot of people. And I think you really need to evaluate, personally in your family and in yourself, how do I feel about these things, and what does God say about these things, and, be accepting. Yeah. Even it's okay to disagree with maybe a lifestyle or a life choice. But that doesn't mean you still don't love that person.
Well, I would even add on to, I mean, when we even talk about the kingdom of God, and if we look at our initial creation, God created us to all be equal. So I view everybody as a king, in that relationship, and like, and we're all equal and across the board. So there's no hierarchy in positioning, and so it's not me, to judge, anybody. They all have a unique and special purpose.
Well, and then also in our family, like, we're all equal. You talk about hierarchy, and yes, there is, you should respect your parents and all of that, but you still have talked about, like, us being equal and that our voices matter as well to this family.
Right.
And so that statement alone has made it so we can make things like this, where we can all sit and have a meeting like this, because you have said you are equal, your voice is as important to this family. And it's not just I'm telling you who you're going to be, what we're going to do, what this family is. It's
right.
us all coming into agreement because you've told us we're equal. So it's a reminder of us being equal as, like, family members as well.
Right. I mean, Madison and Riley are allowed to disagree with us. They're allowed to voice their opinion, and they're heard. And we believe, I mean, they're very intelligent, both of them. They learn things and they hear things that we aren't hearing and learning now. And so that's the whole goal of teamwork. You have different skills, you have different abilities, you have different voices that you learn from, and as you bring that together collectively, and we can build a stronger unit. And so that's why I said earlier, I need Madison, I need Riley to grow up and learn these skills so they can contribute to building a better Madej family legacy.
Yeah. Mom, anything you want to add to that? No? All right. You want to read our J one?
J was for justice, and we believe that we are to be an example of true justice. We strive to impact the world around us with acts of justice, helping those who cannot help themselves and giving to others with no expectations from them.
And that's huge. And just to clarify that, there's a lot of, we're not talking about justice as it may pertain to what maybe social media is talking about. We were exposed to what we call true justice. And what we mean by that, and a great friend of mine wrote a book called Champions of Justice, and we believe that we're supposed to do for others what they can't do for themselves. We're not talking about justice as like a vengeance and paying the price for a wrong that has been done. That's not what we define justice as. We define justice as righting the wrongs maybe that a person cannot right for themselves. And the best example I can give is the Good Samaritan story out of the Bible. So you have people that walk by a man that was beaten down by some robbers and could not help himself. Another man, the Good Samaritan, comes by, takes him to a hotel, pays for him to get back on his feet, and then comes back and says, if there's any more, tells the innkeeper, if there's any more that he needs, I'll pay you when I come back. And and didn't want anything in return. So many times we have people that want to give only because they expect something back in return. And that's not what we're after. We're constantly trying to look for ways that we can help people and who can't help themselves.
When we're striving to be the giver, the anonymous giver,
right?
That can give gifts to people that are desperately in need and help them, get out of their situation, and serve others. So our family has started, during serve days, where we actually go out as a family and work together on a project or an event where we can help serve, a portion of our community, that can't get what they need, whether it's food or construction or cleaning or whatever it might be. We're filling that gap.
Yep.
Yeah, we made that a goal for our family this year. So
Yeah.
But that is,
and again, a goal that we would not have had as a goal had we not gone through this exercise.
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You know, so.
And I mean, again, so this is our acronym, MADEJ, MADEJ, and we're not perfect in this. But this is what our best family looks like.
It is who we're striving. That's a roadmap, and so that's what, like Jodi was saying, on the same page. So we would have a disagreement, and so then we could come up and say, no, look, here's what we said we would do. We said we would treat people this way, but you're treating somebody this way. We already had an agreement. We're going to treat people equally. Why are you doing this to this or that person? And so we have different. We can go back to that and we can show examples of holding each other accountable, because this was an agreement that we made. And then this is the culture. Now the agreement and this legacy now becomes a culture. So now when Madison has children and our grandkids, we're going to start training them up in this culture.
Yeah.
So now it becomes a culture, which is a whole nother topic. But if we don't have that defined, and if we don't set a plan and have something in front of us that we've all discussed, and we have, here's what this looks like, we would just keep going through the motions, just living day by day. And again, this isn't, we didn't have a bad life. This isn't, we didn't grow up and our lives were bad, but it just wasn't totally fulfilled. We didn't feel that we were giving our best, and so we just started talking, discussing, doing this stuff, and this is what we came up with. So we feel we could be a little bit better, and that's what we're doing. Every month, every year, we're evaluating, setting goals, and just trying to improve ourselves a little bit better. And we feel that we can impact the people around us as we do that.
So let's get into just how does a family start this process? How do they go into it? What does that first process look like, mom and dad?
Well, I would say, just, hey, show them this podcast episode. Say, hey, I was watching this podcast, listening to this podcast, and these people started talking about this, and man, I just think this is what I've been looking for. I really believe that there's so many people out there who really want to do something like this. If anything that I've learned, and people I'm talking to as we've gone through this whole COVID stuff, and, if you're listening to this for the first time, and, we're just getting past this COVID lockdowns, and almost everybody that I talk to about this has this one thing in common, that we have strayed away from focusing on family. We have strayed away in not making family important in a priority. And that everybody really believes that they need to start getting back to family. They need to start getting back to making family a priority. And so use this as a launching pad to just, hey, I heard about these people doing this. I think, husband, wife, kids, whichever one initiates it, I just think we should look into this. Like, what do you guys think? Just open up the dialogue, start the dialogue, and you'll be surprised. Your spouse or your kids might be, yeah, you know what, I think that's a good idea. And I don't know, they might say it's a bad idea, but if you think it should, you want to do it, everybody's not going to be on board right away, but there might be some people. You'd be surprised if you just start the dialogue, what might happen. Yeah. Just get the dialogue going. And if you really feel compelled to do it, man, that's what we're here to help. So
yeah. What would you say, Mom? Like, how does somebody take a first step, get started?
I think Dad just said it all. I think you just laid it all out really good.
Yeah. What about when they get into sessions? So you've opened up the dialogue. What about when you get into sessions, like brainstorming sessions? Any tips for brainstorming sessions?
I think you need to lay the foundation to know that this is an open forum. Everyone's voice is important. Everyone's voice is heard. There's not a bad idea. There's not a bad suggestion. I think if everyone, and there might, this process might maybe have to have some pre-work done, because there might be some issues within the family that, need to be worked out, covered, worked through, forgiveness, whatever that might be, you know, those might need to happen first to have that open table
absolutely.
discussion.
Right.
You know, I don't know where everyone's coming from. And I mean, we had the starting discussions weren't always good. There was tears, there was arguing sometimes. I mean, there was
some things, that we
people
worked out.
taking it the wrong way, you know, and
Yeah.
things we had to work through.
Yeah.
And it's made us stronger for it.
Yeah. No, absolutely. There was some things that we had to just hash out right there as a whole family in those meetings. And after that was passed and done, though, we were able to come up with this and all be in agreement. So I completely agree with that. Yeah. So, and then when you get into this system, like, and start doing meetings or open discussion and stuff, what if you're not perfect? What if you mess up and miss a meeting? Or what if everybody's not on board? Any tips for that?
Just keep going. I mean, are you doing this just because it's a, you know, this is one-time fix and it's going to solve all the problems? No. Everything that you're doing up until this point in your life is a habit. Everything you're doing has become a habitual in your life anyway. So in order to do something different, you're going to have to do some things different. You're going to have to create different habits. You're going to have to continue to do it. And this is the why. So once you identify the why, which is what we just explained, this is why we're doing this. And you just have to keep doing it. You have to just keep moving on. It's never going to be easy. Everybody's not going to be on board 100% of the time. Life happens, schedules happen. You just got to keep moving, because this is a long-term. Legacy is about generational things. So build this for your future generations. That's what this is all about.
Last question. What if everybody isn't on board? Should I still do it alone? Should I still do it if just one other person in my family is on board? Yes,
100%. So
and what if people get feelings hurt, or what does that look like? I mean,
yeah, I mean that probably will happen. I mean, that's the risk that you take. But again, if you're in a current family situation and nobody wants to do it, I mean, ultimately you're going to have a family, so you might have to be the pioneer for your family. You might have to be the one that sets the trend. I did. I set the trend. I changed. I built. I took components from my family that I liked. The ones that I didn't like, I changed course. Mm-hmm. I built something different. I started new trends. My family here is totally on a different path than had I not done that. But I had to make a choice early on. And I'll tell stories about that. But this is experience. This isn't theory. I personally made a choice to change, to go down a different path. Again, it wasn't that it was a bad path. You know, this isn't like a family's going to do this and all of a sudden they're going to make a change and go the opposite direction. We're not talking about opposite directions. We're talking about, you might just go a different path. It might just be slightly off the path that you're already going down. It doesn't mean that, you know, your current family is all bad and now you're going to be all good. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about minor adjustments. Yeah. I mean,
you got to do what's best for you and your family.
Just do a little bit better. Yeah. And it doesn't mean that your family's bad. It doesn't mean that you hate them. It just means that, look, I just want to be a little better. Look, this is what, you know, what I feel needs to be done. So
we just wanted to give you a little bit of what it looked like for us and what it could possibly look like for you. These are possibilities of things happening. And so I just wanted to ask those questions to give you a heads up of what could happen.
Well, and I'll give you a great example. One that came quick to my head is when we started in the parenting realm, the way that we chose to discipline our kids was not popular. But later in life, we had many family members who discouraged us and said, this is not what you should be doing. Later, after they saw how Madison and Riley turned out, were like, you guys did the right thing. Oh, well, thanks. So if we would have listened to you back then, I would have gotten the same results that they got. See, but I had to make a little tweak. It's not to say that they did bad. I just wanted to be a little more consistent. I just wanted to be a little more structured. So those are little tweaks that we made and chose to go down, and it panned out. And that ended up not because of our sayings, but them. They came back and said, you guys did the right thing. So again, people will appreciate it. I think most people, and even children, they're looking for that consistency. They want to see, even wives. I mean, Jodi wants to see consistency in me. Not I would jump around a lot from thing to thing to thing, and it would frustrate her. I'm consistent. I got to stay consistent.
Is that
focused.
so?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I haven't heard that before. So
he's always like, next, latest, greatest.
Yeah.
This or that, and that's fine because he's always thinking big and looking for, the big.
But we now have something that we can focus on.
Get consistent.
Yeah. I'm now
Yes.
consistent.
Yes.
We're focused on this, and we're building this, and getting ready to build something generationally. And
Yes.
that's the key. If you're going to build something for the next generation, it has to start with a solid foundation, and you've got to be consistent.
Yeah. Well, I think that's about a wrap on today's episode. And so thank you, Mom, for being on. You shared some great things. We so appreciate it. And if you guys do have this open dialogue or this first conversations, let us know how it goes. We're supporting you. We want the best possible family that you can create. So let us know.
All right. Thanks.
All right.
Till next time.
See ya. Thanks so much for joining us today on the Legacy Builders podcast. Make sure to share this episode with your friends and family, and remember, today is a great day to start building your legacy.